Hooday! What's up, Bengals fans? Apologies for the audio, and I'm driving today, but it's been a little while since I've been able to talk Bengals with you because, I don't know, life is crazy and busy. I was on vacation, and but I've got to talk about this 4-2 Bengals team going in to play the Ravens this week for a chance of first AFC North. And specifically, I want to talk about why the Bengals are fun right now and why it's different. Because I got to give you a little context of my history as a fan. I've lived in Cincinnati since 1988. Cincinnati, Northern Kentucky. So it's been 33 years. Before then, I was born in Michigan, and so when I was a kid, I moved down here when I was about 7, but I was a huge Detroit Tigers fan. I was a huge Detroit Lions fan. I was a huge Detroit Pistons fan, and I was a Michigan Wolverines college football fan. And when I was 3, the Tigers won the World Series. Alan Trammell was the World Series MVP. He was my hero. I was 3 years old, but he was my hero. So when I played baseball my whole life, Alan Trammell was my guy. My nickname in knothole baseball and all through playing as a kid was Tram, because I loved Alan Trammell. We had a championship. Michigan Wolverines were dominant. Detroit Lions, not dominant, but they had Barry Sanders. Detroit Pistons won 2 championships with Isaiah Thomas, Joe Dumars, Dennis Rodman, Bill Laimbeer, the Bad Boys. And so I was like, oh, being a sports fan is great. You just get to win championships, and all my teams are awesome. And then I moved to Cincinnati, and I came down, and I was like the new kid, and I was like, Cincinnati teams suck, and all the Michigan teams are great, and I'm from Michigan, and I care about all my teams. And I was kind of like that kid in school that's annoying because they're from somewhere else and blah, blah, blah. So I was not a Cincinnati fan. I didn't really convert. I hung on to Michigan for a long time. So I didn't convert really until like high school, when I actually became a legit, so that was like what, 3, 6, I don't know, it was like 7, 8 years. I mean, I followed the Reds more, but early on as a kid, the Cincinnati had success. The Reds won the World Series in 1990. So Barry Larkin, Chris Sabo, Eric Davis, Nasty Boys, Rob Dibble. That was fun, but I didn't super appreciate it that much. And right before then, the Bengals went to the Super Bowl, I believe, in '88. So I think it was the winter that I moved to Cincinnati. The Bengals went to the Super Bowl, and they lost to the 49ers. But I'm like, oh yeah, just everywhere I go, teams go and play for championships. That's just, again, that's what it is to be a sports fan. And then 30 years have happened. Like 30 years of pure drought as a sports fan. No playoff successes whatsoever. No playoff advancements for any of my teams. Now, the Bengals went to the playoffs for 5 years. They had a run of success when Dalton became their quarterback. So from 2010 to 2015, they went to the playoffs every year. But every single year, they lost first round of playoffs, culminating in the most tragic sports game I think I've ever watched, in the 2015 Bengals-Steelers game, where we had the game won. Vontaze Burfict intercepted Ben Roethlisberger. Dalton wasn't even playing. We came back, and A.J. McCarron threw a touchdown to A.J. Green, intercepted Roethlisberger, and then all we had to do was run out the clock. Jeremy Hill fumbles. Then we have defensive penalties with Burfict and Pac-Man Jones. Joey Porter runs on the field. Chaos. Steelers come back and win. I mean, just like the most gut-wrenching, devastating thing I've ever seen. After 5 years of playoff drought, and they had the game in the hands. And the Reds have not advanced. I was at the 2012 playoffs where we were up 2-0 on San Francisco in the first round. We had Johnny Cueto, Matt Latos. Cueto got injured in game 1. We had Jay Bruce, Joey Votto, It's got rolling, and we end up losing 3 straight to San Francisco, all at home. Culminating in Game 5. I was at Game 3 and Game 5. Game 5, Buster Posey hits a grand slam off of... Where did he hit that off? Homer Bailey, maybe? I can't remember. Regardless, the point is, as a kid, I saw all these championship teams, and I thought that's how sports would go. And then for the last 30 years, nothing. Like, no playoff advancements for my teams that I root for, the Reds, the Bengals. And, it's funny watching the Lions game this last week, because, like, a lot of the storylines was like, the Lions are the NFC Bengals. Like, 0 playoff advancements. Like, they talk about being lionized, the good players when they get there, just like players get Bengalized here, because it's like such a dysfunctional franchise that never wins and never advances. So I give you all that because I just had to get this off my chest as to why this year is extra sweet. Bengals aren't in the playoffs yet. They're kind of exceeding expectations. The biggest reason is because of their defense. Their defense has been fantastic. It's not the offense. It's been the defense who's been kicking butt. Sorry for the audio. I don't have my microphone. And I'm on the highway. But what I think is extra fun about this year is we tanked 2 years ago, and I was so happy we tanked. I never rooted for a team to tank before, but I was like, no, I get the economics of the game. I want that number 1 pick. I want Joe Burrow so bad, and we got Joe Burrow as the number 1 draft pick. It was awesome. It was so awesome. I was so happy we got Joe Burrow. And then this last year, we didn't tank, but we just sucked. And we were picking number 5, and there was this huge debate between Sewell Chase. And it was a great debate, and it was like a fun for 3 months in the offseason to say, like, okay, who's better? And I originally was on team Sewell. I was like, look, Joe Burrow's knee just got destroyed. Build the franchise around him, protect him, give him time. He's an amazing elite quarterback. Build up the O-line, and then he can throw to anyone. But I got one over. I will say this, before the draft, and most of this was because of Joe Goodberry. Shout out to Goodberry. He can, on how special Chase was. And they're both good picks. I still think they're both good picks, even though Sewell got burnt by Hendrickson a couple times in that game, and Chase is off to like a fantastic start. I think they're both going to be great players, but I had swung over to team Chase, and I ended up going draft night to my friend's house, Aiden, and we were watching it, and we both wanted Chase, and we saw Kyle Pitts go off the board, number 4 to Atlanta. We were like, yes, they're going to do it. They're going to take Chase, and they did. And we were like, yes, like we were so happy, and we were like, did we make the wrong decision? And should we have had a better offensive line? But like, everything, the reason why this season has been so fun so far, I mean, we're winning, which is fun, but like, as a fan, and it's weird to put this much time and energy into being a fan, but it's fun too, especially when you're doing it with friends. As a fan, you so often put your hope in things that just next year, or like, well, next year in the draft and the free agency and blah, blah, blah. And like, so rarely does that actually... Okay, maybe we're back. I think my connection went bad there. Yeah, okay, I think we're back. So, but this year is just super fun because, and we might get rolled by Baltimore this week. We might get rolled by the Bills and the Chiefs later. I think we play the Bills. I know we play the Chiefs. And we might not make the playoffs. And that's okay, because the trajectory is on an upward trend. This defense looks good. You can see where, like, okay, year 3, 4, 5, we have serious potential championship hopes here. if Burrow keeps progressing and stays healthy, like this team is on the rise. So this year kind of feels like, oh, we're ahead of schedule a little bit because this defense has been so good, and because these free agent selections have just been home run. I mean, Ogunjobi, Cheeto, Trey Hendrickson, Hilton, kinda, Riley Reef. Like, these have all been great additions to the team. Then you get these, good performances out of Logan Wilson, who's really stepped up. Sam Hubbard continues to look great against the run. DJ Reader's back, and you're like, oh my gosh, like we got something here that I didn't really expect. But I keep going back to this. The reason this has been so much fun, at least this is just for me personally, is like what we wanted to see happen between Burrow and Chase. What we saw in college, and what we thought. YouTube live, in and out. Don't know why. Got my iPhone. Not sure why it's happening, but